Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. So today is part 3 of the Woodlands panel that Susanna printed, and I have cut the panel down and created a snippet roll with all of the different artwork elements. And then in amongst Susanna's panel, she had written a poem, and I've pinched a few words out beneath the leaves. Bunnies play. So these will be saved for another day. It's handy to have little words here and there to put on pieces. So since we were together last, I have finished my leaves. Let me bring them up to the camera. So the leaves, I'm pretty sure you saw in the last video, the berry leaf bush was 2 tones of leaf on top of each other and then just alternated. So if I did a pale one, I did a dark one. A dark one, I did a pale one. And then I just did some big stab stitches for veins. I added additional berries and leaves here near the mouse. So it sort of made the mouse look like he's trying to eat some berries by using the toadstool to stand on. I used a variegated Wonderfill thread. It really helps give the motley look when you're doing foliage and things like that. So it changes colour. That there was a variegated thread as well, but just a pearl cotton. I think it was something from, oh, I can't remember. It was unravelled. It's sitting just here. It was unravelled in my sewing basket. I've used it recently on something, so it was just sort of sitting in there. So I saw that, and that went on to my dandelions. The dandelion flowers, I'm not sure if you can see them. I'll bring them right up to the camera. I did wool, and I did 3 lazy daisy stitch to bulk it out. Then I came back through and put some little beads over it, and a little itty bitty turkey stitch in the middle. And there's the little bud as well. Probably should have done a darker colour because it doesn't really show up. In real life with me, I can see it, but looking at the camera, they're just there. If the background was a little darker, maybe would have helped. So, but that's okay. They're there. I can see them, in natural light here in front of me. What else did I do? I really worked the bottom of the piece with lots of bits and pieces. So after I left you, I found this piece of fabric. So lots of browns and motley colours, and I just kept nibbling pieces out of it. It frays beautifully, especially this one side was naturally, look at that. So that was really good to use. So there's little bits of that. And then just to give it a pop of green, I have a doily that I've nibbled into a few times. So that's where I'm at. I still want to put some beads through the bottom, but I haven't dug out all of the beads that would suit, things that look like little pebbles and things like that. I think I mentioned in the last video, I'm filming this ahead of time because I need to take it to Susanna's retreat. For you, that was back in March. For me, it's January, so I'm still sort of getting ready for the retreat and getting this project done for Susanna. So what do I want to do today are the mushrooms. Now, I grabbed this book out. I've shown it to you before. Sue Spargo. What's in here is just so many different ways that a mushroom can be visualized. Now, I'm not doing this technique that Sue uses, but it's a really good reference point of colour. So the cap is this beige, but then this is a completely different colour. Doing some stitching in under the cap. Now, using bullion knots to create another cap on top of the cap. So I'm really just flicking through this to have a look at different ways fabrics are used to create the mushrooms. As for the technique, I'm not going to be doing this style of stitch. I want to keep it more freeform. I'll definitely be doing stitch on the mushrooms. Like, that's interesting, just little circles. So I've had a good thumb through that just to get my head in the mushroom vibe. So we'll pop that away. Great book if you want a reference book for when you do such projects. Now, we might go over here and tackle some of these. Now, there's a lot of detail on these mushrooms, so we'll see how we go when it comes to, just get myself comfortable, when it comes to actually stitching everything down, because I've grabbed my wools that I had the other day, and I've also gone to the cupboard when I put my greens away and picked up some additional fabrics. Most of these are from clothing, the odd piece of, see, that's quite fluffy, and then that there, upholstery. So I've got a little bit of a mushroomy pile of fabrics here. Hey Fudgy, how are you this morning? He's been rolling on the carpet, stretched out, being a little cutie boy. In addition, I've grabbed this blouse back. I'm thinking that, well, I'm not thinking that now, because when I was grabbing everything, I was like, oh, that looks like the bottom of a mushroom. And then I've come to my piece, and there may not be the opportunity to actually do what I thought, because there's not really big areas. So that's not so. But this spot might be good. If I did the spot, I could then stitch in there easily. I don't mind that idea. What's the matter, Fudge? Why Fudgy so grizzly this morning? Just give us a moment, guys. We need to pat the cat. Hey? Good boy. Now, let's aim for the mushrooms at the back, I think. So this little guy, mushroom cap. It really is about just finding fabrics to layer in. I like this pink, has potential to be the underneath of a mushroom. There's some little bits of this guy. I don't mind this fabric. Now, you could just freeform cut your mushroom out. I'm thinking I might be a little bit more precise and use some tracing paper. Watch your little paws, buddy. I want to roll my chair back, but I don't want to squish a pussycat. Let's get some tracing paper, Fudge. Because there's not a lot of room here for fabric to go past the line, because I'll be covering the feet of mice. So we might be a little bit more precise this time. And trace out the little mushroom cap. Yeah. Mama. Once I get all of the stalks and the caps in place, then it'll be about embellishing, whether that be with stitch, beads, or lacy bits. Mama. Mushrooms are pretty easy to do, and you can... You're coming up, are you? No, pussy. There's too much going on, buddy. Mushrooms can be a lot of fun because sort of can break a few rules. Now, do we use that? It's a pretty bold print. I might use this one. I like that one. I've used that before, I think, on a mushroom. Oh, pussy, what are you tapping my leg for? Mushrooms have these funny little areas where, like on the stem, there's like a little skirt they're really fun to capture. There we go. Now let's have a look. The lines are good, so we might just lift it up a fraction so we don't see those black lines, because there's a skirt opportunity at the bottom. So I've got a couple ideas here. We've got this lace, but I think it is too big, or we find something in the container. We sort of need something fine, maybe a crochet edge. It's probably too big. That would be good down there, but it probably needs tea dyeing because it's so white. What else have we got? Okay, here we go. A very fine crocheted lace. I might just I'm going to slither off. I'm going to try and make it random. My instinct was to go to that edge, but I'm going to stay out here and get a bit of a lineal length like that. And then that can go in there and become, yeah. Let me zoom in so you can see what I just did. So we've got just that little bit scooting through there and that there. Now we need a stalk right down to there. So that cream's pretty good. I might just do a quick trace. I think this fabric for me is quite precious because I don't have a lot of it. So that's why I tend to just take a moment and cut a little template, because, you know, I don't want to waste. And we'll go that way. I like the lines that are lineal. Lineal lines are going up and down. So we'll take advantage of that. And I've cut the stalk a fraction taller so that I can tuck it underneath. Tuck it underneath the cap. All right. It's probably got a bit big for the space. Yes, it has. So we've lost that daintiness. So let's just nibble a little bit out. Pop you under there. And push you in behind that mulch. I need a pokey tool. This is where you've got to fiddle around with things that are already stitched down to get in things that are technically behind the things you've stitched down. It's just a case of manipulating things. And if anything is in your way that bugs you, you can always do a little snip of the item. I like the invisible stitch. There you go. And there's our lacy little, I bet there's a proper name for it other than little lacy bit. So it's going to go up a little bit. Don't be afraid to adjust designs too, because these are just guides, unless you're doing an embroidery style piece where you're following it to the T. But if you feel like there's a space for another mushroom, go for it. Like that there is not in the design, what the mouse is eating. But it was just a perfect opportunity to drag that bramble bush, or whatever the bush is, across the screen a little. Across the screen. You know what I mean. All right, so now we've got this mushroom here. I keep going to that pink, but I don't know if I want to bring... I would do that netting idea, but it crosses over this mushroom. I suppose we could make that mushroom go behind, so it would appear back there. Or do we just make it a mushroom, forget about that design detail and focus just on this big guy? Yeah, we might do that. So here's an example of a mushroom being completely changed. Oh, look at this red. Let's do this mushroom down here. I'm jumping all over the place. Doesn't matter, it'll come together. I'm a bit of a fan of a red mushroom. I've got a leaf image in behind here. I need to add a little bit more mulch up into here because I can see the black line. Oh, look at you. You're a flash mushroom. You can go there, my friend. Oh, love, love, love that. So what stalk are we going to give you? Do a similar? No, this stalk here looks good. We'll do this guy by eye. I think we can pull that off. And there's a little skirt around this little guy. Could fiddle all day with these things. There we go. You're in there. You're planted in the mulch. And then we need a little skirt on you. So we might just nibble off a little bit of that. And that can be stitched across there. There we go. So there's a tiny little mushroom in behind there, so that we might do another little red guy. You can have a little mate. Maybe all the little mushrooms in around the background, there's a few poking, can be the little red ones. Like a little toadstool. There we go. And we need some stem, but not much. And we'll bring you forward because it's getting quite bulky in the back there. So we'll bring you into there. You need to be finer. You're a bit chunky, mate. Get you in down into that mulch. And then a little cap. There we go. I feel like that's too big. Might just trim. Like I can adjust all of that. Are you on camera? Just. Might just go up a fraction, guys. It's all well and good coming in close, but we very quickly go out of shot. Professional crowd that we are. We can put a little bit of that on there. I have to trim it, and then this can go on there as part of its little skirt. and bring it up. Yeah, I like that. Oh, this is fiddly. I'll just have it peeking out of that other one, but on its stem on that one. There we go. That's good. Okay, this big guy. Are we going to do all that stitching? Could we be bothered? Could we be bothered? What else could we do? I just love all these fabrics, so I just want to... Oh, look at this velvet. Oh, I think we're going to be just doing fabric. Sorry, Susanna. We are going to just do beautiful big fabric inspired mushroom tops. But that would be pretty stitched. I don't know, will I change my mind? I don't know. I like it when there's heaps of mushrooms because we can showcase heaps of fabrics potentially. Let's have a look at you. Yeah, I want to use this velvet. I just can't help myself. I got a mushroom in the background there too that's getting a little bit left behind. Oh yeah. We'll stitch on top because that just is, oh, I love it. Love, love, love it. We can do all sorts of that. Now a stem for you. I wonder if I use this. It's thin. So what I'm thinking is it'll sit nicely behind everything. Because, you know, I should have done this big guy at the back first. But that's okay. Nothing that can't be placed. So bring down that guy next. Get that in behind everything. Then that. Then that. That's going there. Like so. Oh, oops, 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 oops. Thick, fuddly fingers today. I'll even bring those two forward. Get them more in the foreground. Yeah, that's better. I'll have them coming out of this foliage here, I think. Oh, don't fiddle, Corrine. Just leave it because you'll have needle and thread soon and you can position everything then. There we go. That covers that line. It's got to go up a little bit. Okay. So, pins. You can be pinned. You can be pinned. And so can you, little guy. The other thing I want to do to the ground surface area is just lots of bullion knot stitches, French knots and things like that. And as I mentioned, I'm filming this in January, so I might end up saving that for the retreat, and that'll give me opportunity to put a lot of detail into it. I'm not going to try and rush it now. I can have that evolve you know, as we're sitting around chatting. So I wonder if I can use a bit of this. I do so love this. And I think we could probably trim a thin edge off and have that going right across the underside of this. Yeah. Oh, fancy, fancy, fancy. So we can lift that up and just tuck that in under there and then stitch it in. And then with some stitches on top to embellish it, that will look cool. Once again, I might save those stitches on top for the retreat. Okay, now you're way back in the background, so you are potentially needing something thinnish. I wonder if I could just use a piece of it's sort of a completely different medium, isn't it? I need like a lighter fabric, a small light fabric. Nothing here. Everything's really chunky. Unless I bring him forward. Maybe we could do that. Where's my scissors? Maybe we bring him forward, guys. I'll just cut this out. I know it's way too big, but if we bring him through there, I need to make him narrow. And he sits to the front. No, he's covering up that guy. It's too chunky. Where's the other mushrooms? I don't like that one. Back down here. Yeah, maybe that there. It's a little bit bland. No, don't like that one. Oh, yeah, something like that. Where's the stencil? I've gone down the other end now. Let's get our shape right. I sort of want the mushrooms to be obvious, but not too bold. Might make that a red one again. Oh, no. I want to play with every texture I have, guys. You'll be thinking, gosh, girl. If you've been hanging with me for a while, I literally do all this on the fly. So what's going through my head, I try very hard to verbalize so that you can sort of see the process of which I assess things and make a decision. This is going to make a pretty mushroom. There we go, little guy. Oh, love it. Love, love, love. I might put a darkish stem on you, I think. I think we can freehand that. It's only about just over 1/4 of an inch wide. Finer. So much for the lace that I had. Okay, we'll trim you in a moment. Now we've got another mushroom. Really like this guy. It's the same as the one over there. Trace it, don't waste it. There's a saying, trace it, don't waste it. Meow, meow. So this third part will be the last part in the series at the moment, because I'll need to do more stitching in the detail. So I need to have a look at my calendar, because I believe when you're watching this, I'm actually in America for 3 weeks. Now, whether part 1, 2, and 3 is exactly, no, it won't be. I still won't be back, because I think there's a week after the retreat that everyone can get their panels from Susanna, because that's when they're officially released. Then part 1, part 2, this is probably about the time I'm slowly heading back home. So I might say don't look for part 4, an update on the finished piece, next week, because I have a feeling I'll be away, unless I might be able to film a little update on it. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay, ignore what I'm saying. I'll go to the retreat. I'll finish stitching detail, because that's what's sort of the next thing I want to do. And I will then come back to you and show you the finished item, which I can pre-record, and it can then just slide into the calendar. So it'll be all good. See, that looks too sticky. See, that's so straight. There's no movement in it. It just looks like a stick. It's too straight. Let's get you in there. I'm going to put it behind. That's where it's meant to be. And that in there. Now, I think we need a lacy edge, so we will nibble. I'll nibble off this lacy edge. Let's save those little flowers for another day. I'll put them back into the lacy edge bucket. Maybe I could do something on the top of these mushrooms. On the cap. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'll just put that little itty bitty piece there for now. And you need a stem. Meow meow. We might just use this again, because that's what we used on the other one. Tiny little piece. Bring you down into the foreground a little. And then once again, we'll use some of this lace to go across. There we go. Yeah, baby boy, what's the matter? Hey? Bit grizzly? Well, you sound grizzly to me. No? I'll be on the couch shortly, stitching mushrooms. Where that mushroom sits in the mulch there, that's a great spot to put a heap of beads and rocks and things like that. Mind you, I don't think mushrooms grow out of rocks, do they? It's all good. It's my mushroom, The last mushroom is here. You know what? The birds. Scrap everything I said. We've got birds to do. These guys here, the animals, I'm thinking of doing a little bit of stitching on those, but I just can't decide. I'm still thinking about them. That might be another thing I do at the retreat. Have a chat to all the girls and see what they're all thinking. I've got colour laid down there for them in the paints, but I'm just wondering what else I can do. I'd like the idea of putting fabric on them, but I don't want the fabric to overpower them. Having said that, the birds, I'm just going to layer with fabrics and create a whole new bird, I believe. So yeah, we'll see. Mousie's another one too. He's to have fabric lie on him. Still thinking about all those. Now, this little guy at the back, what are we doing with you, mate? Let's find some fabric. We need something that stands out a little bit. It's too like the ground. Maybe we bring this guy in. No, it's too big and bulky. Pussy, you're coming up. This bit bigger. Hey, pussy, you coming up, are you? It's so dominant, this colour. I just don't know. He's right back. Oh, Fudgy, you want to come up? Oh, Fudgy bee. Hang on, we're cuddling the cat. There he is. It's a boy. You want to walk across? All right, off you go. Keep walking, buddy. Keep walking. Move it. Oh, he's like, but there's so much stuff. There we go. Pussy's gone. What am I looking for? Distracted me, pussycat. Where's my stylist? Let's get in here and get some layers up. Get you pushed right back. Yeah, that's all right. Now, no, don't. No. Maybe this, it's thin. Do a little itty bitty tartan stem. Makes complete sense, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. The things we do when we're slow stitching just defy nature and gravity, don't they? Yeah, that's good. I like that, except it could be a fraction thinner. It'll be fun to put some little stitches and French knots and like really layer up. In you go. In you go. Probably doing it the wrong way round, and the mushroom should have been done last week, but doesn't matter. It's fun when you've got to try and adapt design to suit. In there and in there. That's it. And then there's a little skirt. Let's go back to the thin, where is it? Here. Actually, some of this might be nice. No. Like that makes a great, oh, it's too sweet. Can't cut it. Nope. Nope. Just stick to what you were doing, girl. This. And we'll go the narrow section. And I'll try and gather it when I stitch it down so it looks like a little skirt on that one. The other thing you can do is where the mushrooms meet the ground, you can have this type of product as well because they grow from it. And that doesn't look right there. I think it's a bit big, but anyway, we'll persevere and flick it up there. And then that goes there. Yeah, that's cleaner looking design-wise. So like little bits can go on the bottom. Oh, I like that. I know that's too white, but I can always drop a little bit of ink on it. And put that in there, like so. Make a bit of a feature of him, and then I can bring a little bit more mulch. Where's that? Sari silk. This is where you could fiddle. No, I've already cut bits off here. Cut little bits off and create tufts and like little clusters of morsels to put in there as well to soften any edges that you think are a little harsh. That stem needs to come over, that stem's got to go over because I can still see the artwork, and there's plenty of room for everything, but I can adjust that when I get my needle out. There we go. All mushrooms have something nearby. I wonder if I can get a little bit of this on the cap from that other mushroom. Yeah, I like that. Sort of connects this fellow to that orange one further along. So you can do that with lace too on the tops of them. You're there, give or take a bit. Okay, I think we've got ourselves a bit of a plan. We've got a cluster of mushrooms there. Have we missed any? We've got our 2 mushrooms there and our little bit of lacy bits. I'll just stick it there for now. All right. I think that's it, guys. I'm ready to toddle off and do some more stitching. There will be another video. Or do we do it now? Do we do the bird now? Yeah, let's just do the bird now. Won't take us long. So I might pause the video and I'll get rid of all this thick fabric that I was using for these mushrooms because I feel like I need finer fabrics. Let me just get back to the cottons, and then I can sort of cut bits out for the little birds. So that's the plan next. Let's just do a little tidy up here of my favourite mushroomy fabrics. Okay. And I will go to my scrap bucket of fabrics. And that colour would have been, I did use it. Just bear with me, guys, as we do a little clear the deck because there's stuff everywhere routine. Okay. Let's put that away. I'll pause the video and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. The deck is cleared. Feel much better. I'm just thinking about these birds, and while I do, because I want to manhandle this end of this piece, I'm just going to carefully stitch down with some invisible stitch those mushrooms. Then I can hold this piece in my hand. So that's what I've decided to do first. I've got plenty of time. So I'll start with this lacy element. Then I can get rid of those pins. It's fiddly. These birds, they're so itty-bitty. My thought, without playing yet, is that the fabric is going to overpower them, and I'd literally have to redesign the bird, which would be a little bit of a shame. So maybe we just stitch them. Be interested to see what everyone does with the little critters at the retreat. Okay, that's at least secure. I'm going to once again need a little bit more foliage. Around here, but that's easily done with some French knots and bullion knots and pistol stitches, and all sorts could happen. I'll have to keep myself quite refrained with what I take too, so just embroidery and a few beads, embroidery threads and a few beads is probably a good idea, because I've only booked carry-on luggage because I've got to get a bus. Oh my goodness. I've got to get a bus from the airport in Melbourne to Ballarat, and there's a chance of catching a bus which is within 10 minutes of me landing. So if I can get off the plane and sprint through the airport down the outside of the big building across to the car park where the buses all line up to take you to regional areas, I can get on that and I'm home and hose. But if I miss that bus for whatever reason, and most likely out of my control, I've got to wait an hour and a half in the airport for the very last bus, which is like a 9 o'clock or something at night bus. So if I have carry-on luggage, I can scoot lickety-split down to the bus and potentially catch that earlier one. But if I check a bag, yeah, trouble. Because I'll have to wait for it to come off the plane, go through the carousel system. It just won't happen. And the other problem with carry-on, the checking, is if I miss the bus due to the plane being delayed, which is possible, out of my control, and I've got carry luggage, I can stay in the airport where all the food court is and have some dinner. If I have a bag that has to come off of the carousel, I actually exit the airport. So technically to get food is going to be really difficult. There might be a coffee shop open, but yeah, it's the chances are not good. So I really need to travel very lightly and stay within the airport if I don't make that bus to have a meal. If I feel like a meal. But at least it's safe sitting in there in the food court. So yeah. So to stitch all of these, or not so much the birds, we're going to have a little play with them now, is a very, very good idea, because that means it's just a few threads and a few beads going with me down in the suitcase. We're going to go under or over with those. Let's just get the piece down. I know if I've got 4 days to stitch and not rush, this will get so heavily embellished. I just feel like there's opportunities to lay, to lay more flowers in here so that becomes background and not a feature. I think I'm going to stitch those birds, guys. I'm just looking at the container of fabric to the side of me, which is, you know, scrappy bits. Let me just pull something up. We'll have a play and make a decision. One mushroom. Now we need to decide that lacy element. Is it going underneath the mushroom? Or is it going on top of the mushroom? I think I'm going to put it on top. It keeps this cleaner here, so you can see that guy sitting in front of that guy. I can always do some French knots around that bottom edge that are more, you know, delicate. But I'm thinking that is going to there. Yeah. Very carefully. I'm using a beading needle here, so a straw needle, very fine, so that I can just slither through there without disrupting my layers of bits and pieces. And it's sharp. Then I didn't catch that. It's sharp too, so it's very efficient in. Am I missing that every time? I am. Third time, let's try and catch that little edge. Okay. Wonder what adventures I'm up to in America. Gosh, never been to America. I'm sure I've said all this to you, so I bet I'm just having a ball. Ow. Just a few more little stitches just to secure that. It's like a webbing, little spider-like, spider web type elements that some of these mushrooms have. There we go. Needs a few more stitches just to make that sit and not break down. A lot of people ask me about cutting fabrics like crocheted elements. Just go for it because they're a series of knots. So often you'll find that you'll make a snip and it just doesn't unravel because there's a knot within a mil of where you just snipped. So you're usually pretty safe. I don't knot now. What's going on? Oh, are you serious? It's an old thread. Oh, don't do that to me, you little... That's all right. Not all is lost. Let's get you out of there. It's the tail got caught. There we go. So happy with that. It's all secure and the pin is gone. There we go. Birds. Let's talk birds. So if we were to cover you, it would be a case of everything is gone and we would be starting again. I'm going to stitch him, guys. Yeah, we're going to thread paint him. Like you could easily do this, but where's that tracing paper? Let's get a feel for his body shape. I've still got it nearby. Let's just have a little play. I guess it'll give you guys some options if you decide to do a fabric bird. So we sort of need to have it overlap. We'll give him a blue belly. He's going to get bigger in doing this. He's so cute and little. Do we want him to be bigger? These are all decisions you're going to have to make when you do your little guy. He's so cute already. I don't want to make him this chunky blob either. There's a blob. See what I mean? It's just a blob of fabric. But we'll put a blob of fabric on. So then we need a head. Let's go pale for his head so that we can see stitching like eyes, beaks and things like that. So I might just grab this fabric. We'll free. Gee, that's pretty. Stay away from that flower because I feel like that could be. Let's give him a little head so we're completely free form cutting this little guy. So it's up to you how you proceed, but creating a collaged bird is something you could consider. What about his tail? What are we going to do for his tail? Give him a little pink tail. We can't be too vibrant with our fabrics too. Give him some tail feathers. This might be the thing that convinces me to do it, you know. So we're starting to get playful. Yeah, we're going to do it. Okay, we're making our own birds. Because then you do the wing and Like you lay down those first few pieces and you think, oh my goodness, I don't know. But let's do it. I'll have to stitch Mousy Butt because there's a lot of detail on him and I don't want to lose his little cute way about him. So there's 3 little tail feathers. Now let's change the fabric a little so the tail feather looks interesting. Get a couple of those little tufts in there. And then we'll follow a similar colour palette using these bits and pieces. Oh, my tummy's rumbling. To create the other. So there we go. We've got tail feathers. And we would need a wing. So those tail feathers probably should come back a bit. So we're not going to have room for his wing. And they're a little bit angled. There we go. Oh, this is cute. So it pays just to have a little play. If you've got a couple ideas, just flesh it out. Keep your print of your fabric you choose quite fine because they are little. A wing, how are we going to do the wing? We just do a teardrop shape. I'll use this first. Something like that. Put it under his head. Now we're tilted up. It's probably a bit big for him. Budgie agreed. That's okay. And then I think we need a second wing. Hang on a minute. Look, we've got that. I just fussy cut out that little leaf. Maybe that can go on as a little feathery detail in his wing. No, don't like that. Need another colour, but boy, be careful bringing in other colours, girl. Oh, what about this fabric? What about we bring in, maybe we bring in this little guy. Could we put a flower on him? It's a bit random, isn't it? Fancy little bird with a little flower on him and a little leaf. No, but I like the leaf. Oh, my tummy's really rumbling now. Hope you can't hear that. Yeah, Fudgy. So there's a little leaf on him. He's blending. I could probably find another leaf for that side. Maybe. Now, we'll just have a look at his little head. He's definitely got bigger. I need something tiny to go right in the center. What about we take a little bit of this flower? I'm just not letting this flower go, guys. I like it when there's designs in fabric that assist you with your design. Yeah, I think this might be just fussy cutting out that tiny little. It's half the flower and I've kept the center of the flower as well. Yep, there we go. You probably can't see that real good. Let me zoom in. This is my stomach. There we go. So then it's just a case of something for the eye to rest in. What have we got? What about this flower with the centre? And the centre becomes the eye, but it'll give us a bit of a colour, a pop of colour around his little head. He's got a freaky looking eye. Yeah, and then with the beak, so I stitch a little beak, or we find something for a beak. It's looking in my bucket of, I need like an orange. There we go. What have we got here? Little beak, chickadee, and then I stitch around all that to, you know, blend it. And we can use the artwork on that fabric. There we go. One little bird. Oh, I love him. Now I've got to get a pin on all these tiny little elements. I'll use probably a black or grey, a grey thread, one strand, to stitch these little pieces into position, and that'll give it a bit of a sketchy feel like it does have on the piece. Okay, one little fabric bird up there, you little cutie. But invisible stitch him down first. Let's have a look at this guy. We're going to give you a blue tummy. Where's my tracing paper? Because we've sort of got our little bird figured out now, so let's not upset the apple cart by I don't need to go that big around his head, because then you're fighting blue fabric. And then we'll trace his head. And then he's got this top knot thing, which I think we can figure out. Okay, we'll give him his blue belly. Maybe I will be fabric collaging these rabbits. Oh my goodness. Yep, one body. Where's our blue? No, I'm going to thread paint the rabbits. Oh, I don't know, guys. Stay tuned. The girl needs some breakfast. That's what the girl needs. Oh my goodness. I can just see those rabbits thread painted, because I can get fur and, you know, texture. There's the next little bird. Now we need the head. What happened to that? Out of that fabric that we used on the other head. I think that piece of fabric that I was cutting wing elements out of, I think that's French General. Moda. French General. Oh, there's a frayed bit there. Let's try and capture that in his little top of his head. That's too cute not to try. All right. So there's his little head. Oh, you're a wild little fellow. Then we can have a wing coming down the side. like so. Put his wing under his chin. Where's my stylus gone? So his head's turned and he's looking that way. We need some tail feathers and we need a top knot. We might make his top knot the same. Let's do that little bit there for the top of his head. Up there. There we go. Oh my goodness me. Need some tail feathers. A few of them. They're going to get quite large. And that will be in under there because it's at the back of him. Another tail feather. Can never have enough tail feathers. You know how it is. Little birds need their feathers. Under there. Done. Just a couple peeking out. I feel like the shape of his head's a little bit out. And then the beak and all that comes out from the side. Let's cut another little triangular wedgy beaky looking thing. Once you get the beak and the eye in, you sort of feel like you can see your bird. I need tweezers, guys. This is fiddly. There we go. And then we can get our eye. I don't know, can we get a little bit of, oh yeah, look, little flowers, itty bitty ones. Let's pinch one of those. At least it'll give us a hint of that fabric that's on that other one around his eye. It's very abstract. Oh, don't go anywhere, little fellow. There we go. Now the wing. Could do with a little feature. What about that little leaf there? It's long and narrow. So you just never know until you start fiddling, do you? You just can't imagine these things. Well, I can't. I just know the materials I'd need to do it. There we go. And there's an opportunity to give him a little chest. But then I'd probably need to give him a little chest, and that's a bit precarious over there. What fabrics have we got? Do we do something with the flower? See this here? Maybe I can fussy cut out this shape and it becomes a little bit of a feathery detail on his chest. Like you can be as precise and as neat as you want, but this is a very organic piece, especially the foliage and that. So you can sort of get away with potentially, I think it's too big. And get that in there and bring the wing over it. His top knot's not right. I think his top knot maybe needs to be this fabric. And a bit finer. You know what I might do with his top knot? I'm going to stitch it. It's too chunky. So what I'll do is some Lazy Daisy stitches up there, like little top knot feathery things, and I can do the same to the other fellow as well. So there you go. There is our little birds. They're in place, little blue birds. Love them. Love them. Okay, I will toddle off and I'll stitch down all of these bits and pieces. I probably will even bring out the glue because they're so little. So I might get my art glitter glue, which has that nib, and just put a few dobs around just to hold things, and then go through with the invisible stitch and then embroider on top of that. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. And I will catch you in the next video. It'll either be ta-da, I've finished, and it'll be just whatever I did with the animals, which I'm going to be pretty confident I'm just going to thread paint. I think if I fabric these, I'm going to lose the detail. I'll have a think about it. And then I'll be adding more embellishments to the mushrooms and through the foliage. But I think you guys are pretty much, you know, on your way for those of you that ordered the panel and are stitching along. And yeah, that's where we're at. All right, guys, look after yourselves, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye for now.